So if you're home and you're finding that you're getting a bit of a sore back, you're spending a lot of time sitting at a desk or even just sitting on the couch or at the coffee table doing your work and getting a bit sore, it's a great thing to be able to do to incorporate some yoga while you're actually doing your work. I know a lot of us are actually busier than we've ever been because maybe you've got children at home, other family at home who also need your attention as well as trying to do your work. And so, yes, you're saving a bit of time on traveling and chatting in the tea room at work, but other things are taking up your time, and maybe you don't have enough time to exercise, or maybe you're just finding you're getting a bit sore, and so you want to look at alternative ways. Often when I'm reading my books, I lie down on the floor and do some yoga while I'm reading. It's a good way of incorporating a couple of things at the same time. And I also find it helps me with concentration. Sometimes when I'm reading, you read a few pages and your mind starts wandering off. And then you suddenly think, I don't remember anything that I've read from these last couple of pages. And you have to go back and do it again. By actually doing some yoga at the same time, it can help you with your concentration. I think all our pets are getting used to having us home all the time too. And rather than just appreciating it, they're just expecting more and more attention. So Maggie's going to have to go off and do her own thing while I show you this. So while normally we would teach that, while you're doing yoga, you just concentrate on your breath. You don't do anything else at the same time. This is just a way of incorporating your yoga into the other things that you need to do during your day. You'll probably find with your kids, particularly if they're younger, that they naturally do some of these things while they're doing their work. But if they're spending a lot of time sitting at a desk, maybe it's a good idea to get them down on the floor doing their work as well. So always remember you might need to do a counter pose at the end. For your kids, the same thing. Okay, so I've got my bolster here. It could just be a cushion that I'd fold up quite tightly. I've shown in another video how you can actually make a homemade bolster if you need to. Or it could be the pillow off your bed. So I'm just going to lie down over my bolster. So the way that feels comfortable to me, that's quite high up on my rib cage. I don't want it pressing in too hard, so I can rest my elbows on the other side. Got a nice bit of support while I've got that bit of curve in my back, which is great for my back. And just deepening your breathing a bit so you feel that breath against the bolster. Just concentrate on your breath for a few breaths. Just feeling your breath going in and out of the nostrils. Then tucking the toes of one foot under. As you exhale, stretch out through that heel. Inhale, release. Tuck the other toes. Exhale, stretch out through that heel. And release. Just moving from one side to the other with the exhalation, stretching out through that heel. And while at the moment, because I'm talking, it makes it a bit hard to read at the same time. Once you've been doing this for a little while, you'll find you can just do it and concentrate on your work at the same time. So it could be a book, could be a laptop. And even if all you do is just come and lie down in this position instead of sitting up at the desk, it's still giving your body a little bit more of a different position, just to avoid that sitting in one position all day and ending up with a sore back. So one more. Relaxing the feet down. So you might want to take your feet a little wider, turn the toes out, allow the thighs to turn out a little as well. Let's relax for a few breaths. This is a sort of a crocodile pose, Makarasana. And then bring the legs back together. So then we can tuck both toes under and lift up. A little mini plank. Whenever you're ready, relaxing back down. So the other thing we could do is just walk a little bit further forward, bring the palms down to the floor, setting yourself up properly, and coming into a stronger back bend. So either keeping the knees on the floor, so fingertips spread out, and then lifting up. So into upward dog. Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. And releasing back down. When you need a little rest, very easy to just put head down. And when it's time to come up, come into a counter pose. So just coming up onto your knees. Take your knees out wide, toes together. Sit back onto your heels. Might need to move the bolster out of the way a little bit. Walk the hands forward. Move mine right out of the way so you can see. Again, fingertips spread out, head coming down to the floor. So you're aiming to have your buttocks down on your heels. So you see I'm walking my hands back a little bit. That helps to push my buttocks down onto my heels. You could come up onto the fingertips, head down. This gives you a bit more stretch through the shoulder and the armpits, and the sides of the chest. Or if you can't take your head that far down towards the floor, you can make fists one on top of the other. Try and get your elbows out nice and wide and rest your forehead onto your fists. A kind of halfway option, just one hand on top of the other. and then coming back up. So I hope that was useful for you. Please go to the button below and subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be putting together a few more videos, different things you can do around the house. I think in these times of us being at home when maybe we weren't expecting to be at home, it's really useful to be able to just incorporate the stretches, the yoga that we can into what we're doing. So one thing I often find when I'm doing something like working from home is that when it comes to the early afternoon, it's quite easy to feel quite tired. And I really recommend trying doing a yoga nidra. Get the whole family to do it. It's great for the kids as well. And it really will just energize you in ways, if you've never done it before, you might be really surprised. Really wakes up the creative flow. Maybe not the very first time you do it, you need to do it a few times. Just a 20-minute yoga nidra and you will feel so refreshed, so ready to get back into that work that you won't want to stop doing it. And I think with all these things, with being able to do a bit of stretching exercise while you're doing your work, being able to do a yoga nidra to have a productive working time in the afternoon. I just think it's a fantastic opportunity, and the more of us that can stay working at home and doing these things, maybe it doesn't suit everybody, but for a lot of people, I think it's a really great way to be able to do our work. So yeah, keep an eye out for my other videos. If you subscribe and click on the little bell, you'll get notified when I upload a few more things that you can do around the house in between doing your other bits of work. Namaste.